Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new Minecraft PSP discussion video. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So in this week for Minecraft for the PSP, what's sort of gone on is not too much actually on the side of actual progress and work. I've been very busy recently with several exams, papers, and a bunch of stuff that really has to get done first before I can really focus on Minecraft for the PSP. It's unfortunately that time of the year where everything starts to crunch in at the end of college, and it's really starting to become a little bit more difficult just for these last 2 weeks. This is merely temporary, but I hope that it all goes over soon, and I can focus a lot more time towards this project. However, I do have some changes and things that I want to announce, alongside some of the changes that are going to be made to Minecraft for the PSP. So right now, as you know, version 0.5 pre-3 adds in a lot of the blocks and stuff that we were missing earlier inside of the game. So currently what I've realized is that my block system is very inadequate, and it wouldn't even work with a normal Minecraft client. By this I mean that the block system is nowhere near identical to Minecraft's. It's very much similar in such of the way that it works and the way that it's stored, but it's not really similar inside of the way anywhere beyond that, including the way that block data and things are handled. So everything having to do with block IDs and having a general registry needs to be sort of upgraded and changed. So where I went to go look was sort of the Minecraft source code and look at how they did it. And I definitely can agree that that solution that they've implemented is a lot better, and I'm going to be implementing my own sort of solution here that's sort of a hybrid between their ideas and mine, and it will probably be more efficient overall than the current system, because currently I have to manually add in every single block by hand and do things like that, whereas with given data and knowledge, I could probably make something for Minecraft for the PSP that's a lot more efficient and streamlined. This being said, I went ahead and started a sort of renewal project called Project Raven, which is going to be sort of a upgrade to the current Minecraft PSP codebase, and it's going to look at a variety of things. Currently what I'm doing is the block subsystem, which is going to include all of the finalized blocks, including the ways to render those blocks into the game as well. Slowly, week by week, what I really want to do is I want to go ahead and rework certain areas of the code, and that way it will also help us towards completion of the project and the project goals. Furthermore, I finally wanted to move over my GitHub sort of code and move it from basically the MC PSP, which is considered a fork of Woolio's, to its own sort of link that's going to basically be just redirected to. This way I have like full ownership of the project and things like that, because currently there's a lot of things that I really can't change inside of Minecraft PSP without having really a custom link, and I just want to add a few more things to my custom repository. That way it's a lot easier for people and users when they go and see it to actually go ahead and do things with it. It's also a thing about GitHub is that GitHub does not recommend forks as much as it does actual genuine repositories, so it will also help with viewership there as well, and it's a little bit of a perk. So in the description below there's going to be a link to the new project, which is still being sort of set up. It's under the temporary name of Project Raven, but what it really has is basically a copy of all of Minecraft PSP's already existing code. So hopefully with this new sort of updates to the block registry and things like that, which I'm going to be implementing over the next day or two, and I'm going to be adding a lot more sort of mixed style programming from both like Java and from C, and hopefully this sort of blend helps everything be a lot more efficient than it previously was. It's also going to allow a lot simpler of a syntax for people who are reading the code and stuff like that to go ahead and make changes. This is sort of a general feature that really needs to be implemented, because currently there isn't really much documentation, and with every sort of subsystem I want to add documentation to it as well. That way people who want to port it over to something like the PS Vita or stuff like that would be able to more thoroughly understand the code that I'm really writing. I'm also going to be upgrading Stardust Engine alongside Minecraft PSP in order to better create a system where I can more accurately have functions that handle platform-specific code instead of having raw references to SEGU and stuff like that. That's really commonplace in my project, which isn't necessarily great for portability. As I started with version 0.5 pre-2, there was a lot of rewriting to be done, and a lot of integration of Stardust. This didn't necessarily actually increase the quality of the code, it only really sort of increased the functionality of the code, and it boosted a bit of performance. Now, the real thing that we need to do is go ahead and actually boost it so that it's actually readable and understandable. This shouldn't have any performance impact and should be really a negligible change, but we're also going to be adding in basically all of the blocks and everything, including items later this week. That being said, I'm going to actually be doing some daily uploads, which is actually a really interesting thing, but I'm going to be doing some daily updates on Minecraft PSP every single day for basically foreseeably the next little bit. I'm probably going to skip the weekends on this, but it's still going to be a pretty cool experiment to see basically how much I can really get done. I still want to meet the release target for version 0.5 pre-3 by the end of next week, and I'm really thinking that I can probably still make it. Currently, the changes being made to the code are really an attempt to continue to keep the rapid pace of development for Minecraft PSP to continue on into the future, because currently MCPSP has a decent foundation, of course, on everything, but it's not necessarily the best for rapid development considering the future. So in order to actually add more extensible subsystems into Minecraft PSP, which wasn't necessarily an intention at the beginning, adding more of these extensible subsystems that were sort of a feature of Stardust, and it should also propagate over to Minecraft for the PSP. That way, making mods, stuff like that, is actually even easier, especially considering the way that the game is written. With this, we might even be able to bring on other people onto the project in order to continue development and make it even faster, but for now that's really sort of a secondary priority. I really just want to have a nice clean code base that runs, looks, and really sort of embodies the feel of a professional project. I'm also bringing the project over from Linux to Windows using the new PSP toolchain, which is actually really useful. It's a GCC 8.2 compiler built on purely just Windows, and it runs really well. It's just as comparable to the Linux version and doesn't really offer anything too much in the way of making things faster or slower. So I will really try to bring that over, and it's going to be a lot more convenient for me to edit using my native code editor of Visual Studio, the full edition, compared to Visual Studio Code, which is missing a lot of the features and doesn't necessarily understand the PSP as well as Visual Studio does with IntelliSense. All of this is geared to making development faster, and I really hope that we can continue to move on at an even faster pace after this is done. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another Minecraft PSP update.